So I just watched the movie The Long Walk for the first time, and it made me realize that working a 9 to 5 is the same thing as slavery, basically. Like they abolished it however many years ago, 100 years ago, whatever. But the truth of the matter is that it wasn't truly abolished. They just made the 9 to 5 become more like slavery, bro. And that's exactly where we are today. And I remember it kind of brought up memories of me working at that warehouse, being a manager at Amazon. And being a manager at Amazon kind of exposed me to a lot of this shit because here's the thing. A lot of people work at warehouses, right? It's just general labor, right? But it's very representative of just general people, everyday people. And you walk in there, bro, and it's just literally like a dystopian building, bro. You walk in there, everything's like gray and yellow and shit like that. And, it's just crazy because you see people in there working their lives away, trying to make it out, never being able to. And it's funny because when you watch the movie The Long Walk, one of the biggest things that they bring up is that nobody volunteers for that shit really, right? Because even though it is a voluntary, not really, because you got to make it out. You got to do something, right? And that's the same way that this capitalistic corporate America society we live in works. Nobody truly wants to volunteer to work, but we have to do it, right? Nobody signs up for this shit. No one even signed up to be born. No one signed, you didn't sign up for this shit. You just were born into the situation. It was like, oh, well, you have to do something or you die or you become a vagrant or some shit. You're going to be sleeping under a freeway. And it's like, fuck, dude. Like, literally, if you do not choose a job, if you do not choose something to do, you are done for. And 9 times out of 10, it's some shit that you don't even want to do. So even though a job is voluntary, it's really not voluntary. Like, yeah, you can be unemployed, but the truth of the matter is that when you're unemployed, you're not gonna get shit out of it, right? Oh my gosh, that's a big ass booger. That's crazy. But the point is, you have no option but to work. And I'm not saying that we shouldn't work at all. But the thing about it is that most of these jobs are not anything fruitful, right? It's not like back in the day and when we was, farmers and we was, farming crops and shit like that. Like, bro, motherfuckers is literally in an Amazon warehouse just moving boxes. It's just productivity for productivity's sake. It's not anything really fruitful, right? It's not changing a whole lot of shit. And it's crazy because when you work up at an Amazon, or at least the one I was at, they got something called like, what was it called? Like the green mile or some shit like that. There's like a pathway in the building, and I think in most Amazon buildings that you walk, and it's literally just like this movie, bro. Because literally on this movie, you basically walk with like 50 other people, and the last one standing wins, right? And it's a perfect analogy for this capitalistic society we live in because you work until everybody around you dies, and then you eventually die, right? And so when you go to this warehouse, you walk to your workstation and you work until you die. And it's crazy because there's like old people in there too. Like it's not just a young man's place to work. And I'm talking about all warehouses really. It's not just a young man's place to work. People retire there, bruh. Working their lives away. Working their motherfucking lives away, bro. And that's exactly why the 9 to 5 is slavery. Because you are forced to do it. You are forced to do it and they take everything from you. They don't give a fuck if you're sick. They don't give a fuck, oh, you gotta take a bathroom break, you better hurry up. Oh, you like what freedoms do you really have? Oh, you want to take a vacation? You risk getting your hours reduced. You feel me? You have to just keep working. You just have to keep going until you're like 60, and then maybe you can retire at that point. Right? Just keep going, no matter what. There's no sympathy for you at all. There's no sympathy. Oh, this happened to my family. Oh well, next man up. It's cutthroat. And it's fucking crazy because they take everything from you. They take your health from you. Motherfuckers can't go to the gym no more. They take your mind from you because guess where your mind goes when you work these 9 to 5 slave jobs, right? And when I say 9 to 5, I'm not just talking about warehouse jobs. Mind you, I'm talking about every single 9 to 5 job in existence. They all do the same things to varying different degrees, right? Like you might be able to find your white collar job where you're sitting behind a desk and you're in an AC cooled building or whatever, but the same thing is going to happen. I've experienced that shit too. The same thing is going to happen. You're still going to burn out. It may not be as physical as a blue collar job, but you're going to burn out mentally, having to go to all them damn meetings, having to pretend to be someone you're not. You're gonna break mentally, bro. They got your mind. They got everything. They take all that shit from you. Everything is devoted to this company that is ran by people who are in the 1% who don't give a fuck about you, that are living a completely different reality. And that's why when you hear advice from these boomers who are hoarding all the wealth, or you hear advice from these people who have already made it in life, you got to take it with a grain of salt, because it's like they are living a completely different reality. Oh, just stop spending money on fast foods. Just stop. Yeah, because that's really going to do some shit. Yeah, me not spending money on fast food is going to help me be able to afford 2.5K in rent to 3K in rent. I live in Cali, right? And then people will be in the comment section like, oh, well, that's your fault for living in Cali. I'm actually 25 years old. I'm 26 years old and I own a house and I pay $1,700 a month for it. It's like, okay, bro, like have fun in your little shack in the middle of fucking Arkansas. You feel me? You feel me? But at the same time, bro, I'm not moving to no damn Arkansas, brother. All right. But regardless, that's neither here nor there. Back to my main point, which is that this shit is all slavery. They take everything from you and they don't give a fuck. And it's not voluntary. You have to do it. Everyone has to do it. And if you stop working, if you're deemed as not useful, you get fired, which is in the long walk, in the movie The Long Walk, right? If you stop walking, you die. And basically they're the same thing, because everybody is one missed paycheck away from being broke as shit. People have so much false, like we have a false sense of security in these jobs. If you fuck up one time and you miss a paycheck, my nigga, you're done. That's how most people are living. You know that, right? Oh, well, I have savings. Okay, well, shit, with the way the job market is shaped up to be, I hope you got savings for a long time, because my boy, it might be a second until you find something else. Or you might have to find something that pay a little less. And even then, that's getting hard. Niggas is getting rejected from McDonald's. Niggas is getting rejected from Burger King. And that's why this whole system is fucked up, bro. But really what it boils down to is, what are we going to do about it, right? Because you go into these workplaces and it's literally dystopian as hell. What are we going to do about it, right? Because there's different... See, life is not necessarily about what happens. It's about your reaction to things that happen, right? So there's a couple different ways that people typically react to, you know, being a 9-to-5 slave, which is everybody, right? They either conform to the system, right? They say, oh, work is work. I'm just going to conform to the system. They're depressed their whole lives, and, you know, until age 60 when they retire. And then hopefully they had a Roth IRA. So now they can throw all the money at the fucking hoes and, you know, have boat hoes, throw yacht parties and shit like that. Throw money at the strippers at age 65. Which, by the way, is actually going away, because they already took away pension. They're taking away Social Security. So for our generation, Gen Z, we're not gonna have that shit. We're not gonna have no Social Security, brother. So in other words, when we're not going to be able to retire, right? So it really is gonna be work until you die. There is no, like, the metaphor for like making it to the end being retirement. That shit don't exist no more. We are literally going to work until we motherfucking die, right? And it's like, we're promised, oh, if you make it to the end when you retire, you'll have everything. Oh, you'll have all this. And then, brother, that shit is a fucking illusion. And on top of that, even if you do make it to the end, you've been through so much shit. You've been through so much shit by the time you get to the end, that it's like, bro, this shit I don't even want this shit no more. I don't even care about this shit. You giving me all this money. Let's say you did everything right. You got the Roth IRA, you got the retirement fund, you got 401k, all that. But it don't matter. You just saw all your homies die. You saw all your homies lose themselves. Even if they're not physically dead. Look at him. He's obese. He's obese. He's fat as fuck. Your homie is fat as fuck. In a toxic relationship with his wife, cheating on him, cucking him every fucking 2 nights. Literally eating bullshit. Hanging on by a thread. His mind is gone. And you think this money is supposed to change something. Oh yeah, let's go out to Miami. Brother, this man can barely stand on his own 2 feet. He need a wheelchair when he go into Walmart. By that point, it's too late. They done took everything from you. Only when you've given all you can offer and you've killed yourself, metaphorically, then they give you what you need. Now they want to care. But we ain't even going to have that. They said, you know what? Bunk all that. Let's cut the illusion. Let's cut the crap. Work till you die. But man, sorry for the side tangents, but it's just so much to unpack here. But there's different ways to react to this, right? So you have the people that become super radicalized, right? The people that understand this and they go against this actively. Some people get radicalized to the point of violence, even, right? And then you have the people that conform to the system that are just like, okay, this is what it is. And then you have the people that find the truth, the middle ground, right? So here's the thing: being radicalized to the point of violence is not the answer, right? Obviously, there's been revolutions in different time periods and things of that nature. But to be honest, unless everybody's in agreement, like there has to be unity. And the way that the world and society is set up, there is no unity, right? Social media, as connected as it makes us, actually divides us more than ever, right? Because there's constant political debates, there's constant religious debates, economic debates, there's constantly debates and shit going on, rage baiting. Why do you think hate does so well on the internet? If I have a negative titled video, it's going to do a lot better than a positively titled video. It's because people love hate, negativity on the internet, and that just breeds the opposite of unity. Ain't nobody all together on shit, bruh. Nobody is all together. We ain't kumbaya. All right, everybody is separated, right? And it's not necessarily for bad reason. I understand why people react this way, but I'm just saying that's just how we are, bro. We're not unified. So, you know, being radicalized while everybody is not unified is just going to result in people being upset and just people complaining without doing any actions or without doing anything, because people typically aren't going to act by themselves, and if they do, it's not going to do too much. So you have the radicalized folks, then you have the folks that just shut the fuck up and do what massa says and just suck the corporate America's dick. And then you got the truth, right? And now what do I mean by the truth? The truth is that with all this aside, bro, all this aside, we have to remember that even though we are forced to live in this world, even though we're forced to work and we have to keep going, we have to find a means to make money, never let them take what matters, right? Because you have one thing that they can't take, right? And I don't even want to say it's your mind, because even they be taking your mind sometimes, bro, with all the propaganda and shit. But it's your soul, your consciousness, whatever you feel is deeper, right? Whatever you feel, whatever you want to call it, right? Some people call it a soul, some people call it a spirit, some people call it your consciousness. There is a deeper level to all this that they cannot take. And it allows you to see the beauty of life and understand the beauty of life is not in things that are monetary. You cannot buy the most important things in life. When you look around, look at the trees, look at the mountains, or look at the deserts, look at the water. All this shit is so beautiful. And when you get so trapped and caught up in work, you fail to see the beauty of life. And that is literally the point, because life is not a productivity simulator. It is not something to be earned. It is not something that you just work all the time. Life is literally just an experience. And if you do not experience the beauty of life, then you haven't truly lived at all. So, and it's not just the mountains and the trees and shit. It's the intrinsic things. It's the little things. Friendships, relationships, families, having a son or a daughter, having a wife or a husband, relationships, each other. These are the things that matter. Community, love. These are the things that matter, right? Because these are things that can't be taken away from you. No matter what, in all of human history, we've always been able to have friends. We've always been able to have relationships. And these are the things that are more important than money. These are the things that are going to carry us through. These are the reasons for living. It's other people. Genuinely. And that's why the whole loneliness epidemic shit is so terrible, because it takes away from literally the one thing that we have control over, the one thing that makes life worth it. That's the only thing that's really worth it, because when you're on your deathbed, you're not going to be thinking about how much money was in your bank account. You're going to be thinking about all the memories that you made with the homies, all the memories you made with your spouse or your lover, all the memories that you made with your family, all of the beautiful places that you went to, all the experiences that you had. You're not going to be thinking about your fucking benefits, stocks, the money, the wages. You're not going to be thinking about any of that shit. And I'm not sitting here telling you to just completely ignore money. Obviously, money is needed, right, for these things. Money is a tool, Money is a shelter, but it is not the most important thing, because think of it this way. Money, the whole reason why people want to get rich is to be able to share it. If we didn't have family and friends, then we wouldn't give a fuck about getting rich. But why do people want to get rich? People want to get rich because we want to ball out with the bros. We want to be able to spoil our woman or man. We want to be able to, yeah, like help ourselves out, obviously. But if it wasn't for other people, if it wasn't for the beauty of life, we wouldn't even want money. Money is just a tool. And that's why working these 9 to 5s makes us slaves, because it changes your mind and puts you under the illusion, under the spell of thinking that money is the end all be all. But money's not the end all be all. It's just a tool. But when you work these 9 to 5s, that get you into that thinking, into that mode that money is the ultimate power. And when you live like that, you fail to enjoy anything else in life. You fail to enjoy the beauties of life. Working a 9 to 5 only makes you want the temporary, the fleeting, the material objects that will never truly make you happy. See, understand that no matter how much money you make, you're always going to be depressed and unhappy with your fucking job, because by the time you make more money, understand that the more money you make, the more money you spend, really. That's how human beings work. The more you make, the more you're going to end up spending, bro, right? And so what that means is that really, when I say broke, I don't mean literally broke, but really we're all living broke mindsets. And it's because of the way these 9 to 5s are set up. We're living these broke mindsets. And if you don't believe me, miss a paycheck and see how bad that fuck you up. Miss a paycheck and see how bad that fuck you up. Miss 2 paychecks. See how badly that fuck you up. That's gonna fuck up 80%, 90% of the population, brother. It's gonna fuck you up bad. See how much you're relying on this shit. They got everything. They got your life. They got your mind. But the only option, right? And the reason I bring this up is because there's a character in The Long Walk. His name is Peter McVries, right? And he is the positive guy who sees the beauty of your life, right? Not that he doesn't see the flaws in the system. Of course he does. But he also realizes that a job, a 9 to 5, the walk is just a means to an end. It's just a means to an end. And always remember that. So when you go into these workplaces, bro, you know, I'm not saying to just bullshit and fuck around, but don't give them your heart and your soul. Don't give them everything. Sure, put in effort, put in hard work if you want to, but don't give them everything, bro, because they ain't gonna give you shit back. That's for fucking sure. And this goes for every generation, right? This goes for every generation. The boomers had it lucky because they grew up in a different time, in a different economy, in a time when these companies cared a little bit more about their people, right? But nowadays, shit ain't real no more. They don't give a fuck about you. And they're making it very obvious. They don't care about the people. They don't care about you. You're just a number. You're just a slave. But anyway, let me know what y'all think about this in the comment section.